Good morning, St. Lucas. I'm Lynette Fields, and I'm happy to join you for this morning's devotions. I have this pepper plant with me because I've spent quite a bit of time the last several weeks in the dirt. My solace during these past 2 months has been in the garden, in pots in my yard, in window boxes in my front window, and in 2 garden plots in the garden, the community garden. I'm not the only one, certainly, that has taken up this habit in these last days. You see it all over social media. For some, it may be their first time working with the wonder of seeds turning into something delicious to their tables. But for me, it is rooted deep within. My mom was an avid gardener. We had fresh produce most of the summer and then ate canned and frozen vegetables from the garden all winter long. My grandparents lived on a farm, and my brothers and I spent glorious days there in the summer. My grandmother was also an amazing gardener. As a little girl, I always thought her garden was the biggest garden I'd ever seen. And I was in 4-H growing up and took on growing flowers as my own hobby. So for me, gardening is a default position, something to awaken in me. And as I weeded, prepared the soil, and planted the seeds, it was a nice distraction from the news. It was something that I could do that was productive, maybe sort of in my control. It was in the present, but it allowed my future-oriented self to plan ahead for something. And it's been a tie to my history and to my foremothers. What are your defaults? What are those habits that you don't even realize that are buried deep within you? Are they positive? Do they give you peace? Is it time to find or create some new activities in your life? As I began to look for the right pot and the right tools for my newly awakened gardening task, I discovered that I had packets of seeds tucked away in all sorts of different places. I found seeds that go back quite a few years, but they never got planted. Wow! That is both good a literal and a metaphorical illustration. Yeah, guess what? Seeds that are never planted don't ever grow. Now, some years I would plant the seeds, but I didn't have much luck getting any produce. What I've realized in this particular season of my life, as I have checked dutifully every day on my precious seeds, pulled every weed that was out of place, and watered faithfully, is that gardens really like to be tended. I've laughed a couple of times with friends as I have reflected that maybe my inability to grow a garden in the last decade or so has really had nothing to do with the Florida soil and everything to do with the attention I paid to what I planted. Do you have seeds that you haven't planted? My green beans from 2015 might not ever blossom. But do I have talents that I'm leaving untended? Do I have other things in my life that are untended? Do you? I'm excited about the months ahead, as I think I finally have the right ingredients to experience from seed to table. In fact, my dinner last night included my first zucchini that I picked just on Tuesday. It's been good to have my hands in the dirt, and it'll be good to take in such fresh and clean food. There is something to the old adage, we are what we eat. We are also what we hear and sing and read. During challenging times, we can lean on the things we know best. So the practice of reciting scriptures and singing songs and reciting prayers gives us something to lean on, a strong foundation, a default position, a constant reminder of God's presence in our lives, and God's presence with God's people throughout all of time. As a community, we have been reading the Psalms, and today's psalm from the lectionary is Psalm 93, and this is from the Message. Stronger than wild sea storms, mightier sea storms breakers, mighty God rules from high heaven. What you say goes, it always has. Beauty and holy mark your palace rule, God to the very end of time. What is your spiritual food? Do you have songs and scriptures and prayers that you can depend on in trying days? As I was thinking about this devotion, another memory of my grandmother came flooding back to me. One of her favorite hymns was In the Garden, so it seemed like an appropriate prayer to close our time together this morning. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Amen. Have a great day.